U.S. lawmakers introduced ECash bill in new push to create a digital dollar. Now, once again, as you guys have heard from me before, I support cryptocurrency. I do not support central bank digital currencies. And this is based on the fundamentals of Bitcoin. Yes, I still adhere to those. So to give you guys an idea, Bitcoin, just let's go over it again. It's meant to be a peer-to-peer cashless system without the interference of a third party. Third parties most commonly known as banks or governments. Now, the point is to decentralize finance further and further away from these organizations and entities. If we go into something like a central bank digital currency, what you end up having a potential for, and more than likely, now of course there will be huge battles between banks and the federal governments over this, but you would move into the capability of the government being able to fully control that currency without the need of any sort of banks in this particular situation. And what that means is that you're further centralizing control of currency, which is the opposite of the fundamentals of cryptocurrency. So once again, I'll just say it, I'm pro cryptocurrency, anti central bank digital currencies. We have to make that distinction here. The eCash would be a digital analog to the greenback and would preserve privacy and anonymous transactions, according to an advisor on the bill. I highly doubt that, but let's get into it. A group of U.S. lawmakers say the U.S. Treasury Department may be the right government entity to create a digital dollar, not the Federal Reserve. If you didn't think it was suspicious already, it gets more suspicious, doesn't it? A new bill introduced Monday would authorize just that. All right, let's take a look at all of these people and put them on our don't vote for list, okay? We have Representative Stephen Lynch out of Massachusetts, a Democrat. We have Jesus Garcia, a Democrat 3. We have Ayanna Pressley, a Democrat out of Massachusetts. And we have Rashida Tlaib, I don't know that, I apologize, a Democrat out of Michigan. Put them on your list, boys. Introduced the Electronic Currency and Secure Hardware Act, the ECash Act, to direct the Treasury Secretary to develop and issue an electronic version of the US dollar with an eye to preserving privacy and anonymity in transactions. The electric dollar, as defined in the bill, would be a bearer instrument that people could hold on their phone or a card. The system would be token-based, not account-based, meaning if someone were to lose their phone or card, they would lose the funds. In other words, it'd be like losing a wallet with dollar bills in it. This electronic dollar would be deemed legal tender and be functionally identical to a physical greenback. Rohan Gray, an assistant professor at Willamette University who consulted on the bill, told CoinDesk the bill is meant to create a true digital analog to the US dollar. Quote, we're proposing to have a genuine cash-like bearer instrument, a token-based system that does not have either a centralized ledger or a distributed ledger because it has no ledger whatsoever. All right. So here's the other problem, because like a lot of people don't realize that Bitcoin, part of why it matters, a lot of like why it functions well, is because it is transparent. Now you might not be able to always go down and connect the wallet to a single individual, but there's trust in the system because it's transparent and you can review the blockchain yourself. Anybody can review the blockchain yourself, and there's a public ledger. This is a key component of cryptocurrency. Removing that key component is basically detrimental to the entire system, in my humble opinion, including especially in relation to something like the US dollar. It uses a secured hardware software, and it's issued by the Treasury, end quote, he said. This form of eCash would support peer-to-peer transactions, and given the nature of its setup, would support fully anonymous transactions. Now that's interesting. In this, it would differ from the proposals for the digital dollar, which are based on stable coins or other decentralized ledger tools. Blockchains are designed to track every transaction, and any transaction could be therefore tied to the sender and receiver. You should be able to, with, of course, the privacy coin technologies out there, be able to figure out how to keep a public ledger as well as protect the anonymity of the user while still maintaining a public ledger for review by the public. And I think that would be paramount in something that is deployed by the federal government. Personally, under Lynch's proposal, users would not be subject to any more severe know your customer rules than anyone trying to use cash. They would have to acquire the ECash dollars via a bank account, peer-to-peer transaction, or a store, but could then do whatever they liked with it. This is very weird. So this is a move away from the digital dollar, like we were talking the problems with it, and they're trying to appeal to the peer-to-peer anonymous crowd. But then they have very distinct issues here where you don't have a public ledger. I'm actually kind of curious on this move in general, and I still don't think the government should be maintaining this. Also, how do you trust them if there's no public ledger? I just don't, there's no trust there. None of this sounds right. Gray said this system could serve people who are unable to hold bank accounts due to minimum balance requirements, or those who do not trust banks because banks may charge fees or free funds. You know, most people that don't trust banks aren't going to trust the federal government, especially if you're moving the control of it from the Federal Reserve to the U.S. Treasury Department. It's very odd. Everything about this just throws up red flags everywhere for me. I don't know. I'd like to hear your opinions, thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Is this at least a little bit better than the digital dollar, where you would have a public ledger that's fully controlled by the Federal Reserve? Is it? Or is it even sketchier? Do you say, okay, well, what's going on here? Why do they want to do this? Is it because it makes it easier for them to manipulate it if there's no public ledger? Or is it truly because they're pushing towards adhering to more of the principles of cryptocurrency? Which one would it be? And it's very questionable in my humble opinion. It's very odd. So I thought we would bring it up today. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Morning Show every Monday through Friday, 7:45 a.m. Pacific and 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time. You can check out more clips here, or if you're interested in checking out the entire live show, you can check that out down here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday.